Welcome back to the Value Investors Club. I'm your host, Timon Wunderlich. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's get right back into VIC readings. I'm sorry I'm a little ill this week, which is why I have trouble pronouncing some words. I am sorry if I stutter a little bit. Let's get right into it with Fila Holdings 081660. Recommendation what was filed in on September 7th by Sextant. This is not a recommendation, only information. Description background. Fila Holdings is a company with a esoteric background and structure. For starters, it is a Korean domiciled company listed in Korea, but owns the 110 years old Italian sportswear brand Fila. The company is about 25% owned by its founder, Jin Yoon, and his son, Kevin Yoon. To understand the valuation context and how the company got to where it is today, we need to go through Gene's entrepreneurial story. In the 80s, Gene was working as a sourcing agent exporting a Korean manufacturing good to the US. During his business trips, he came across Fila branded apparel in the US and had the idea of sourcing shoes in Korea under the Fila brand to sell in the US. He went to Fila's Italian headquarters as well as Fila's US license at the time and was able to convince them of the idea. After having success exporting Fila shoes to the US and seeing the Korean economy growth and the rising middle class wealth, he developed the conviction that a foreign brand like Fila will be increasingly in demand in Korea. He again went to Fila's headquarters and was able to convince them of the idea. And he was made Fila's head of Korea. And with skin in the game, as he had to invest his own money to own 10% of Fila Korea, Gene was proven right. As Fila became widely successful in Korea, and Gene was paid handsomely for it. Financially, as a Fila employee. At one point, he was the highest income taxpayer in Korea. Fila, however, soon got itself into trouble as it overextended itself financially and was acquired by a distressed PE firm Cerberus Capital in 2003. With Fila on the ropes, Gene was able to buy Fila Korea from Fila in a management buyout. As Fila Korea continues to grow and Fila continues to struggle, Fila Korea ended up buying and owning the global Fila brand in 2007, establishing Fila Holdings as it exists today. Fila also found wild success in China, firmly establishing itself as the third foreign sportswear brand behind Nike and Adidas. Fila Holding has two streams of exposure to the China business. First, it owns 50% of the company that operates the Fila brand in China. The GV name is Full Prospect. JV name is Full Prospect. Anta Sports, the largest domestic sportswear company in China, acquired the other 85% in 2009 and has since taken the Fila brand to new heights in China. Second, Fila Holdings takes a 3% revenue royalty of Fila in China. The third piece of Fila Holdings today is its 50% stake in Ackman, which houses top-tier golf brands such as Titleist and FootJoy. In the early 2010s, the golf business was pretty out of favor. Declining interest in the sports from younger demographics and Tiger Woods' retirement subsequent issues further dampened interest in the sport. Gene Fila, however, saw this as an opportunity as it see potential for sport to reinvigorate itself as well as the growth that's already happening in Asia markets, mainly China and Korea. Fila teamed up with several PE firms and bought Acushnet from Fortune Brands in an LBO carve-out. The consortium IPO'd Acushnet in 2016, and Fila turned approximately 565 million of investment into a holding that's worth 1.85 billion today. Acushnet was been previously written up at VIC, so for the sake of brevity, I will not add too much about the business here, other than say my opinion is it is not overvalued and has significant opportunity to continue to grow. Fila Korea and Fila USA is directly operated business of Fila Holding. Global presence for the Fila brand is through licensees with Fila Holdings and taking revenue royalty. Now, the investment thesis. Because of its Korean listing and the domestic oriented shareholder base, the market focuses its attention mostly on Fila's Korea business and to some extent the US business. Fila Korea and Fila USA are both currently suffering from post COVID related shutdown inventory issues, as well as the company is going through a brand repositioning in these two markets that's hurting result in the short term. Closing down low value distribution points to raise brand positioning, taking more control of e-commerce, but is expected to pay off in the long term. The China business also is under a cloud of uncertainty as China continues to deal with COVID through rolling lockdowns. The overfocus on Fila Korea, USA, have caused the market to miss the significant value that's embedded in first, the China business, Acushnet, and third, global Fila brand royalty, which is growing. Each of Acushnet or Fila China is probably worth Fila Holdings' current market cap. The core Fila business, Fila Korea, Fila USA, the global brand royalty is just icing on the cake. Fila Holdings have demonstrated improved shareholder friendliness and corporate governance as it transitions into a global brand company. They started buying a respectable dividend last year at 30% payout, dividend up 20x last 2 years, and have communicated target to get up to 50% payout along with share buybacks. The Yoon family have recently increased their holdings in Fila Holdings through open market purchases, going from 21.5% to 26 at around W 30,000 stock price. Valuation. SOTP approach is required here to get a sense of value. I generally value the core Fila business at 12x NOPAT, which I feel is a conservative multiple and huge discount to global sportswear brands, but somewhat justified as Fila brand is still going through a reinvigoration that's not proven out yet. For the China business, revenue, royalty, and 15% of full prospect earnings. I use a higher 15x multiple, but again, I feel that's not the best case multiple as Enta Sports trades at 25x and Fila China is roughly 50% of their business. Acushnet is I just use market value for simplicity's sake. That shakes out to a share value of approximately W 90,000 per share, or 3x current share price. Fila Korea, NOPAT W 41 billion at 12x makes it W 495 billion, W 8,141 per share. Fila USA NOPAT W 26 billion at 12x equals W 315 billion at W 5,188 per share. Fila Global Royalty NOPAT at 53 billion at 12x makes it 632 billion with 10,392 per share. China Royalty NOPAT 52 billion at 15x makes it 773 billion and 12,712 per share. Full prospect 15% NOPAT 62 billion at 15x makes it 927 billion 15,245 54 per share. Acushnet at market value is 2,405 billion 39,556 per share, and net debt and others is 76 billion, which would mean minus 1,252 per share. That makes a total of 5,471 billion or 89,991 per share. I do not hold a position with the issuer, such as employment, directorship, or consultancy. I and or others I advise hold a material investment in the issuer's security. This is not my recommendation. I only inform. Catalyst: completion of channel restructuring brand reposition in Korea, USA in 2023. Fila, China normalizing from COVID related shutdowns. Continue increase in payout in both dividends and buybacks as communicated in their medium term target. Upstreaming capital from Ackman through dividends and share buybacks. Fila has been selling into the buybacks to further increase its own payout. Thank you very much for tuning in to the VIC, to the Value Investors Club. See you next time.